It's been a bit of a slow news week this week because Gamescom's been on, but we've got more on that on a different episode. Today, we're going to be looking at what's been happening around the games community. Hi, I'm Prob.
And I am Rob.
And welcome to News Trash, where we take an extended look at the more interesting happenings from the last 7 days from the world of video games. And yeah, we may touch on Gamescom, but probably not. We've got another episode dedicated to Gamescom coming up. And we're starting off with our regular look at the things that are coming out.
Yeah, last week I had kind of Bridge of Spirits on this list, and I was going off a resource which basically didn't have the updated release date, so apologies for that. We stand by everything we said about that game, but it's not quite out yet until later in September. So what is out, we have No More Heroes 3 on Switch, which, yeah, the news that No More Heroes 3 is the last one, and to the concern of nobody, really.
I mean, does anyone actually care?
There is Book of Travels on the PC, Man-Eater Truth. I'm picking select highlights here. Man-Eater Truth Quest DLC is coming out, an addendum to that Shark Eat 'em Up, I guess would be the best way to describe it.
Shark 'em Up.
And the Big Con, which is interesting, it's on all the major platforms, well, Xbox and PC, I should say. Train Life, a railway simulator, because I know there's a lot of people who like that. Honestly, there's nothing really that stands out. Going up to September the 3rd, you know, it's Lake, the PC game and Xbox game in which you deliver the mail. Total War, there's a Troy Mythos expansion. World Rally Championship 10 is coming out on everything. Yeah, nothing really. I mean, the biggest thing that is coming out in this next week, it's a very, very slow week, is The Medium on PlayStation 5, but that's a reissue.
Wow, it's a hell of a slow week, isn't it?
I can't really say this is the highlighted release this week because there's none that I can really highlight. It's a very slow week. I mean, honestly, the fact that I'm contemplating and calling Train Life a railway simulator the highlight of the week, it kind of says everything, honestly.
I mean, I have nothing wrong with that. I do like trains as a mode of transport.
Yeah. So let's not dwell on that, I guess. It's a slow release week. I think It's one of those times when everybody's running scared from like a big event. It happens at E3 where nobody really releases anything. And I don't think Gamescom is quite the same stature of event. It's still a significant milestone on the sort of release and announcement schedule.
I think the big four every year are E3, GDC, the Games Developers Conference, the Tokyo Game Show, and Gamescom. I know that PAX is also a big thing, but I think PAX is a lot more geared towards indies and that.
It's a consumer show. You go and you try stuff out rather than things being announced on it. That's it, really. Let's not dwell on it. Let's just jump straight into the news.
Well, we've got some updates on things that we have been talking about to kick things off, and we're going to start with Netflix. And we know that Netflix are dabbling with video games, and we know that they're dabbling particularly with mobile games. And we've seen things like the Stranger Things game that's been kicking around on the App Store and the Play Store and stuff like that. Well, Netflix are in their very, very early days of mobile games as part of their subscription service, and they're testing it out as part of the subscriptions in Poland. So they've actually tweeted back on August the 26th that from the 26th of August, members in Poland can try Netflix mobile gaming on Android with 2 games, Stranger Things 1984 and Stranger Things 3. It's very, very early days, and they've got a lot of work to do in the months ahead, but this is the first step. And I'm surprised they really are going for it.
Putting all the eggs in the Stranger Things basket.
They are really putting their eggs in the Stranger Things basket, but they do have other properties that are already related to video games, like The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know that The Witcher has kind of a mobile game, doesn't it? It has that Witcher Pokemon Go type game where you can go around fighting monsters as you walk around, which is weird to me.
I mean, there's enough monsters in the real world anyway. I don't need a game that puts them in an artificial reality. Augmented reality.
Yeah. especially around here where if you're walking around with your phone and you hold your phone up and go, oh no, it's a whatever kind of monster, somebody might run over and punch you.
Maybe.
We don't live in a good area. Anyway, moving on to the Activision Blizzard lawsuit that has basically overshadowed all of video games and has, well, it just gets worse. The Department for Fair Employment and Housing in California has expanded the lawsuit to include anybody who, right, they've removed the idea that it's just for employees and basically changed it to workers. So anybody who has worked for Activision Blizzard, be they temporary workers, contractors, whatever, because they found that the abuse claims and everything like that was a lot deeper and bigger than they expected, and it affected a lot more people. And when you look at it and you see that this, anti-harassment, equal pay, and all the other employment protection stuff that's been violated affects everyone from the most menial worker in the company upwards, it's shocking. But we're not going to dwell on that because they've got one more thing that they did not very nice, which was the shredding of legal documents.
Yeah, that's heinous, honestly.
The thing is, I have been told that there is some legal justification, kind of, for them to shred documents, but that would have been the case before this lawsuit had been filed. But after the lawsuit was filed, they went ahead and shredded a bunch of documents that were directly related to the investigation, which is where it gets really bad.
Activision Blizzard is a house on fire.
Yeah, and again, we've said this before, we'll say it again. I don't see how they can continue as a corporate entity.
Yeah, it's corrupt, it's broken, there's nothing really salvageable about it beyond the IP. Because the corporate structure and the way it's been set up as a corporation is so utterly backwards and broken that you can't fix it. The only way to fix it is to tear it all down.
Yeah, but I mean, on the flip side, they're saying, they're still trying to do the whole nothing to see here, nothing to see here bit. It's all fine. Don't worry. What house is on fire? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Because you remember that Call of Duty trailer, the one that was conveniently missing the Activision logos from it?
Yes.
Well, according to Activision, leaving the Activision logo off the Call of Duty Vanguard trailer was a creative choice.
No, it wasn't. I mean, usually you'd have to have like a line of inquiry to say that. Like, why do you think that that's not true? Yeah. And you'd state your case and you'd cite the evidence. But no, I don't need that. Because everything is evidence.
No.
It's a house on fire and you're deciding not to acknowledge the fire. That's basically what they're doing there. You can't call it a creative choice. There's nothing creative about it.
Exactly. If you look at all the other Call of Duty trailers, they all have Activision quite brazenly shown as part of the trailer. But this one says a Sledgehammer Games production.
Yeah.
Activision doesn't show anywhere on there.
It's creative in the same way that people use the phrase creative accounting.
Yeah, exactly. The weird thing is that's not the only bit that where Activision Blizzard are going nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Because in the World of Warcraft front, they're basically making some big changes to what they're doing with the latest expansions to World of Warcraft. But I've been told by several World of Warcraft players, several long-term World of Warcraft players, that this is stuff that they've done before whenever they've messed up with the expansions for World of Warcraft and have started losing players. And they basically said, no, we'll do this. And the players, for some reason, have gone, okay, we'll give you another chance. A lot of them now are starting to see it as being in an abusive relationship with the video game they play.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad.
Yes.
It's a sad situation to be in. Anyway, going to move on to the last bit of the updates, Horizon Forbidden West. It's been delayed again.
Well, no, it's not been delayed again. Get your news stories right, Rob. It's been confirmed as delayed. The rumours where Jeff Grubb and Jason Schreier were saying, yeah, it's been delayed.
Yeah.
Because apparently their word is gospel. So, that's not true.
It's not true, but at the moment they've got a pretty good success rate.
No, they haven't. They've got it average success rate for muck smearers. Guerrilla Games came out at the Gamescom Opening Night Live, did a little bit where they said, yeah, it's been delayed till February, and February is going to be a stacked month, which gives us ample opportunity to say, check out our video that we recently did, Impossible Mission, which is basically suggesting that 2022 is going to be too stacked and it's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of different aspects of video games.
Yeah, just from February onwards, it's going to be a hell of a year for video games, which is why we called it Gaming Gluttony Gone Mad.
Yeah, it is. But it is what it is. It's been delayed. That's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to EA. And Chris Bruzzo, who from EA, he is the Executive Vice President for Positive Play, Marketing and Commercial. And he has come forward to say that toxic environments are inevitable inside large publishers, but you have to take action. And according to Chris Bruzzo, they have had to take some significant actions and dismiss employees over the last several years. One of those things, we've seen Take-Two come forward and say, we don't have any problems with anyone. EA have now come forward saying, we've taken action. We're, really enforcing our rules and everything like that. Seems like a lot of the big publishers are starting to step forward of their own volition to say nothing to see here.
The fact that he said, without a hint of irony, that this sort of stuff is inevitable in a big publisher is the most obvious bullshit I've ever heard come out of a PR guy's mouth, possibly ever in video games. It's basically saying evil and corruption is inevitable, which is just moronically misunderstanding of human nature. The only thing that makes things like this inevitable is companies taking advantage of their position, is companies and people in power being given too much power.
Yeah.
And too much power creates arrogance, and arrogance creates flagrant disregard of the rules. Flagrant disregard of the rules creates situations like Activision Blizzard, creates things like Ubisoft. So in saying what he said, he's acknowledged basically everything that I just said there.
Yeah. According to the article, abusive behaviour in gaming communities, particularly around multiplayer games, is no secret, and the FIFA multiplayer is quite toxic when you get right down to it. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
But according to Chris Bruzzo, the video game industry is catching up to while we have massive communities, and with that means we get all the good and the bad associated with that, right? I don't know what that means, but apparently it means that they are going to be hunkering down and policing all of the stuff that's going on. How they're going to manage that, I don't know. But you're just going to say, and so that's why I think you're still seeing tools just catching up to things like how easy we can make it to report inappropriate behaviour, how clear we can make our code of conduct so that it's so much more obvious when you're breaking one of the rules. That's fine from the community side of things, but what about from your company side of things?
Standards of a company come from the top.
Yeah. And we've seen what happens when the company code of conduct is quite toxic and how that affects the game. We've seen that from things like World of Warcraft.
But I don't want to dwell on this too much because it feels like it's been recurring theme of the past 2 months of us doing this show, and it's exhausting, honestly.
It is. I mean, the state of video games, we've talked about it before. We've said it needs better regulation. I don't know if it needs more regulation, but I do think that the regulation needs to be improved. It needs to be enforced.
Well, video games are a wild west where companies can do whatever they want, and that needs to end.
Yeah, speaking of companies being able to do whatever they want, Steam, everybody's going around saying Valve are great, the Steam Deck is going to be an amazing machine, yada, 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 yada.
You were saying that, so shut your mouth.
I was saying it's a game changer. I think it is going to change how we play PC games, but that doesn't mean to say that I think Valve are a shining bastion of hope for PC gaming and gaming in general. They're a corporation just like everyone else, no matter what people think of Gabe Newell personally. This kind of reinforces what I'm saying. Steam have a 2-hour refund policy for video games.
No questions asked.
No questions asked refund. Now that seems to be all well and good, and loads of people will be sitting there going, I don't see anything wrong with that. I have no problem with that. Well, their refund policy basically has driven a particular indie dev to quit gaming development entirely because their game was 90 minutes long. So everybody bought it, completed it, and returned it, so they made nothing. And that, to me, is disgusting.
There's a brand of games, these new games, these largely narrative-based ones, where it just tells a story in 90 minutes, 50 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever.
Exactly.
And that policy is basically killing that entire part of gaming.
Yeah.
It's destroying it. It's not giving it a chance to thrive because it's cutting it off financially.
Yeah. Short narrative games are one of the most wonderful things I've discovered in indie gaming because there are so many, just these little bite-sized experiences that some of them are absolutely wonderful.
And then there was one, I can't remember the name of it, where it reacted to your webcam.
Yeah.
So whenever you blinked, the story moved forward.
Yeah.
And it was a short narrative experience. And yeah, games like that just can't function on a longer form. And this policy is basically killing this subgenre of gaming before it even gets a chance to get going.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it's a pro-consumer policy, but
it shouldn't be one rule fits all games.
No, it shouldn't be. And I think that what they need to do is have a look and see, because obviously people are returning these games, but if these games have been installed and played, they shouldn't be allowed to return them. And it's easy enough to tell if they've been played because you'll have a thing. Steam records how long you've been playing the game for.
It should be based on accomplishments.
Well, not even accomplishments
on Steam as well. It should be based on percentage completion.
Not even that though. Steam actually records.
These are things. These are things.
These are things. But I mean, even more elemental than that. Steam actually records how long you've been playing the game for, regardless of accomplishments or anything like that. It actually records how long you played the game for. So if you played the game at all,
that is the core of this issue, though, because those games you complete them in under 90 minutes, and according to that rule, nothing's gone wrong there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you played the game for 10 minutes to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, then you shouldn't be allowed to return the game. It's the same basic. I'm using the same policy as retail goods. Say you buy a pair of trainers from somewhere, and you basically wear them out on a date, or you've gone out on a night out, and then you want to return the trainers the next day. You've already worn the trainers. You're not allowed to return them.
Okay.
Same policy should apply.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just common sense. Anyway, moving on. This is a bit of a sad story. Do you remember Kingdoms of Amalur?
Not really.
Right. It was a bit of a shot-in-the-dark game from the now-defunct 38 Studios, and unfortunately, they went bankrupt quite a long time ago. If I remember rightly, the game came out around 2010, 2011, but the studio itself shut down in 2012. Bankruptcy documents were shown and everything was decided. But now, now it seems like the staff are receiving their final payouts.
Yeah. That's not the studio's fault. That's over-promising and under-delivering.
Yeah. It was set up 38 Studio was set up in 2006 by former Major League Baseball player Curt Schilling, and the only title it produced was Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning. And I believe there was a remake of that, Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, that came out quite recently.
I don't think this is entirely cynical, this one. There is stories of studios, big high-profile studios, with millions of pounds worth of unpaid back wages. But this is an indie company which got in and over its head. Yeah. It's sad that people didn't get paid because they did their services and they deserved to be paid for their services, but this, I think it's too small to say the company is the demon, the company is the devil. How dare they do that to their staff? Because, they don't really... Didn't really have the stature to... They're overpromised.
This is why I said it's a sad story more than anything else, because they had ambitions, and unfortunately they ended up with $150 million debt to 1,000 creditors.
Yeah, it's really, really bad, unfortunately. It's a sad story, yeah.
Yeah, it is a sad story, but unfortunately it won't be the first or the last story that we talk about of a developer going under with that much debt.
Yeah.
I reckon there's more to come. But anyway, moving on to somebody that, well, a company that Kojima fans probably wish would go under, but probably are too big to go under. Konami. They are, well, they're in a bit of a pickle when it comes to PES. I refuse to call it eFootball. It will always be PES.
This isn't done by Konami. This is a sub-brand, so Konami is just the publisher. Developer is responsible for this.
Yeah, the developer is responsible for this, but Konami being the publisher, and because of their history, will probably cop the heat from this. You know that's going to happen.
It's very shallow from the games community, just sort of uniformly blaming Konami for everything. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors.
But eFootball apparently is, well, some things are missing from it. Things like animations, some of the gameplay mechanics, and even kicking of the football.
Certain kicks, not all kicks.
Yeah, certain kicks. I mean,
so it's like an overhead kick, and the player's like, I don't know what that is, but you can't make me do.
I mean, when I read the article, I was like, but it's football. You kick the ball.
Here's the thing. I think this is the end of Konami as a football game publisher, because there is another game that is being announced, a free-to-play football game called UFL.
Yeah.
And that sounds promising.
Yeah.
And I want to try that out. And that seems like it's doing free-to-play football the right way, whereas eFootball 2022 Crass as Hell edition is doing it the wrong way.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's one of those things. I reckon that EA have a bit of a struggle coming up when it comes to football games, because you've now got two games. There's this eFootball and there's that UFL, which are both free-to-play models. FIFA has to make a change. It can't keep going the way it is because people basically just move.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try UFL.
Yeah. Regardless of whether you support a team, whether you want to play as your team or not, if you have a really good alternative to FIFA and it's free, you're going to play the free one.
Yeah, you are.
You and your mates are going to play the free one. You're not going to go for the one that costs you an arm and a leg to play and, doesn't get updated until the next time you have to buy the full game.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, it feels like forever ago that we did it, but we asked in an Impossible Mission, is there room for more than 2 football games?
Yeah.
And it's good that that's sort of coming and being a thing now.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Anyway, moving on to something a little more positive. Now, I know that Twitch isn't really your thing, Rob. You're not really a big streaming viewer.
When you say Twitch, I walk out the room. Yeah. I don't care at all.
Personally, I'm not a big streaming viewer either. I prefer me YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's a nice little form of gaming activism. Twitch streamers have organised a day-long strike against the platform in an effort to fight for more action against what's known as hate raids. And on September the 1st, the streamers will be halting broadcasts under the hashtag adayofftwitch. And it's a protest with the intention of sending a message to the platform by lowering its viewership and revenue numbers on the day. It's been arranged by a streamer called Wreck-It Raven with support from other fellow streamers, Lucia Everblack and Shiny Pen. And lots of other streamers have supported the movement via Twitter and have agreed not to stream on the day. I am curious whether the big streamers that I know of, people like Harris Heller and Asmongold and Rich Campbell and people like that, are actually supporting this. It'd be nice if they did. The whole idea of it is that marginalized creators on Twitch are currently suffering as a result of ongoing hate raids, which is basically they'll be on a stream and someone will basically organize a load of bots or, a load of people to go onto their stream and call them all sorts of really vile, vulgar names live on their stream.
Everybody has the right. I mean, I don't agree with the idea of streaming. I think it should never be paid for.
Yeah.
Because, it creates this horrible situation where people are damaging their long-term careers. But that's besides the point. Everybody has the right to do whatever they want, whether they want to stream, whoever they are, whatever their life choices are, whatever their ethnic minority is, whatever. They should have the right to do whatever they want without being persecuted or judged or horrible things said to them. So I support this wholeheartedly, even if I don't get behind the streaming thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, imagine if somebody performed a DDoS attack against an individual. That's basically all it is. And, I don't like DDoS attacks at the best of times, and to actually have them in this form is just, it's not nice at all.
And this is why Twitch is losing major high-profile people. I mean, Dr. Disrespect, this isn't a news story this week, but he is suing Twitch.
Yeah.
For being banned from there too. So they're struggling, that company. It became like the hot white knight of games streaming, but no, that bubble's popped.
I think it's because YouTube streaming is starting to come into its own. It's one of the reasons why people like Harris Heller moved across from Twitch onto YouTube streaming. Because I think he's completely YouTube now. Moving on, another nice little story. The creator of Tomb Raider, Toby Gard, has another game coming out, which is Dream Cycle.
Yeah, this is nice. It's in a trailer it says from the creator of Lara Croft, and I thought that's a nice little touch. And this is like the story a little while ago about how the Atari guy, the guy who was the original CEO of Atari, is back into video games. This sort of old guard that made games what they are today. I mean, as much as you might like modern games, Fortnite is just modern. It didn't make games what they are today. Things like Tomb Raider made games what they are today. And to see these people who had like an instrumental role in crafting what games are and what games will become, still working and still putting things out, it's nice. It's not like movies where somebody makes an influential movie and says, right, you made an influential movie. Into the scrap heap you go, you know what you did. We're not wanting you anymore. We're new, young and modern. No, it doesn't happen in other cultures, so I'm happy that it doesn't happen in video games too.
Yeah, it's delightful, the sound of this game. Dream Cycle apparently is a foundation of a journey into the endless unknown and ever-growing portal into adventure.
Well, that's a pretentious description, but it's probably something really, really simple.
It probably is.
Nice words to describe it.
I mean, you could use that to describe the original Tomb Raider as well.
Yes, you could.
But yeah, the focus is on exploring, and they have a community of explorers, and he has said that his latest adventure, he would like people to join their community of explorers and help them build a new type of action-adventure game where gods, monsters, and magic filter through the psyche of the modern world.
Nice. Like I said, I'm happy that the Tomb Raider guy is doing stuff still. Yeah, that makes me... tickles a nice little, synapse in my head, that.
We have a trailer to end on, because...
Trailer trash.
Yeah, we're actually going to trash this one.
Well, yeah, say what the game is, and then I'll explain why it's not trashing it exactly.
Right. So Gamescom has been, and lots of trailers. We're going to be talking about a few of them in another episode. But Spine, I want to focus particularly on Spine, which is developed by Banzai and published by Neki.
Yeah, it's not trailer trash, because it's as a pure trailer, it's fine. It sells a good vision of a cyberpunk future. However, it's the phrasing of what the trailer is. It's a gameplay reveal trailer. And for a gameplay reveal trailer, I don't know what Spine is. And that is a huge failure for a gameplay reveal trailer when you don't know what you're actually going to be playing.
Yeah. And for someone like me, who is a sci-fi junkie, and I absolutely adore cyberpunk sci-fi, read lots and lots and lots of it, this is kind of game should appeal to me straight away. And when you tell me you're going to give me gameplay, and I'm looking forward to gameplay, and then I get stylized trailer showing me a vision of a dystopian cyberpunk future, but no gameplay, I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know what you're trying to sell me.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Anyway, we don't want to dwell on that because we have an episode coming up tomorrow on the channel, which is us running through a lot of the highlighted trailers, a lot of the trailers that we thought looked interesting from Gamescom. Yeah. So look forward to that coming on our YouTube channel tomorrow. But yeah, all we have time for this week on News Trash. Please do comment below if you have anything to add to any of our stories, no matter how big or little that might be. Even if it's calling me out for disagreeing with streaming, which is fine. It's my perspective. You can have yours. But if you like what we do and you would like to have more content from us, please do check out our Patreon, We have Director's Lottery over there, and we have more pop screen over there, as well as some Doctor Who articles. Some of the Patreons are on screen now. If you want to join those awesome people who keep the lights on, please do, because your name will be added to that list. But until next time, with more news and a smidgen more trash, hopefully not too much, thank you very much for watching.